And now, your host, Couch Tomato!
Hey, I'm Couch Tomato, and I'm joined by
Hulk.
Welcome to Stuff for Movie Buffs. And today we're talking
San Diego Comic-Con winners and losers.
All right, before we get into any of that, put your right hand on your heart, left hand in the air, repeat after me, say I.
I,
Say your name.
Hulk.
Am a movie fan.
Am a movie fan.
As a movie fan,
As a movie fan,
I won't get mad.
I won't get mad.
I can't get mad.
Can't get mad.
And I'll keep my anger to myself.
And I'll keep my anger to myself.
All right, perfect. If this is your first time listening to the show, first thing we want you to do, head over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you go for your podcast. Click the subscribe button to make sure you're getting our weekly updates. All right, moving forward, the reason why we do that, Creed, is because I'm a movie geek. Hulk's a movie geek as well. And sometimes, admittedly, we take movies a little too serious. But by saying that, Creed, Hulk and I promise to not give you guys the side eye, no matter how absurd your opinions are. So this week we're talking about Comic-Con, and we're actually going to be discussing winners and losers of the event. Keep in mind, these are opinions, but nonetheless, we want to get a sense of how you guys feel about it too. So if you got a chance to visit Comic-Con in the past or this year, or if you heard some of the news trickling down from 2017's Comic-Con via blogs, news, or YouTube channels, feel free to share who you think the winners and losers are. All right, so Hope, big question. Have you ever been to a Comic-Con before?
Nah, I have not, unfortunately.
All right, neither have I. This was supposed to be the first year that I actually attended. Unfortunately, the two guys that I was supposed to go with, we actually wanted to go to the New York one instead of the San Diego, mainly because we believe there's less foot traffic there. But nonetheless, I'm on the East Coast, so it's an easier plane trip. And it would have been me and my wife and kids, so it's easier travel.
Yeah.
But those guys got their wives pregnant at the wrong time. So we ended up having to cancel our plans. Luckily, I didn't buy a ticket when I found out they were expecting. So nonetheless, never been to a Comic-Con. Now, how about you? You said no, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm really trying to go next year. Like, I already got the registration. You know, I'm just really trying to set that up. Like, it's still like one of those things like I want to do, but I will admit, like, the hype of it, like the level of enthusiasm that I once had has gone down.
It's changing, and I know we talked about this offline. A lot of it is because the studios are doing their own thing. I mean, can you give me your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, I think because even like with Warner Brothers, I remember like they didn't even release like their DC slate. Like they just, I think it was like a press release where they had like some small event for like you know, news bloggers and all that stuff.
Reporters.
Yeah, that was it. And I was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Normally you would save that for Comic-Con. And even now with Marvel and Disney, like they're starting to branch off more to D23 where like they're saving a lot of their firepower for that. So you're seeing it a lot like where studios, they're not necessarily, you know, giving their all of their content or showing all of their cards at San Diego, which sort of hurts the convention because, you know what I'm saying, you're spending all that money, you're really excited about these franchises, but at the same time, if they're not showing you what you want to see, it's going to really kill like any enthusiasm you have.
And it's really, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. Studios are always especially when you look at piracy, just kind of, it's not going away anytime soon. So studios are always creative and creating different streams of revenue. And when you look at San Diego, it's big business, right? So Disney did the same thing you're talking about with Warner Brothers, where they had a press release for bloggers, etc., when they released information about their slate for Serpent Society, i.e. a Civil War, where they were tricking us. Also, I forgot the other, what was the other one? The Guardians of the Galaxy 2 release date, and Infinity Wars, etc. So they're starting to realize, hey man, I could control my own, put my own spin on this and do my own convention. So it's the same thing that happened with the television, you know, the way television works. Back in the day, you would have a studio and they would go to a cable provider for distribution. But now, since Netflix, you could create your own distribution. I mean, we have the internet, so there's no excuse. So they're doing the same thing. Like, why do I need to go to San Diego when I could stay put and I could create my own event? And by the way, I could launch my own product.
I release it on my time. It's not so like I don't have to adhere to July.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm in Florida, so it makes more sense for me to be more of a magnet to D23. The only reason I've stayed away from it is because I don't sit around and watch Disney movies all year. I care about what Fox is doing, what Sony's doing, what all the studios are doing, what Warner Brothers is doing, what Universal's doing. So it'll be hard for me to spend hard-earned money just to see Disney releases, right? So that's just me. But if I have to go to one, it'll probably be Disney related because they have so much. They have the umbrella of Marvel, Disney, and, just and other things that they do. So, all right, moving along. So we're going to talk about winners and losers. Keep in mind, these are opinions, guys, but I know me and Hulk are going to differ on a lot of stuff. But when we talk about winners and losers, and I know we didn't go, but the true test of a winner with Comic-Con is if Barry and Hulk, who didn't go, are talking about it, you've ultimately succeeded in promoting your movie. So when you talk about winners for Comic-Con 2017, who's the first guy you got on your list?
In Justice League, like, I really enjoyed that trailer. Like, for me, like, it got my excitement more for the movie, which I didn't think was possible. And it was 4 minutes, but to me, they didn't really spoil anything, which I thought was amazing. Like, they kept, like, the Superman, you didn't see Superman resurrected. You didn't see any true, real sense of the villain yet. You just see him, like, appear, like, maybe a few shots of him, striking down and talking, but you don't really have, like, the full reveal of Steppenwolf. Also, any other rumors, like Green Lantern, like, they teased them a little bit, but you didn't see anything like Lantern or, like, a ring or anything like that. So I thought they really did a great job, especially for the fact that it's 4 minutes. I wasn't spoiled at all. Like, and it really, like, it got me excited more. Like, I can't wait for November. Like, I really want to see this movie.
Do you frequently read Webster's Dictionary?
Not frequently, but
oh no, we just got two different definitions of great. But I actually had this listed as a loser. Keep in mind, I haven't watched a lot of the trailers coming out of Comic-Con. So a lot of the stuff that I have on my list, I haven't watched the trailers. Reason being, when the year first started, I said I wasn't going to watch trailers as much. By the way, I went into War for the Planet of the Apes, and I never saw the trailer. I went into Spider-Man Homecoming, and I only saw the first trailer. So I'm doing a good job. Justice League is one of the trailers. It just kept showing up so much on my news feed that I was like, all right, let me watch it. And I'm doing that mainly because I just don't want to spoil the movie or lose enthusiasm approaching my theater seat. With this one, to me, it didn't seem any different from the Zack Snyder, just a Zack Snyder trailer. It looks awesome. Color looks awesome. And action.
It's like, what more do you want, though? What more do you want? You know what I'm saying?
I try to read between the lines, and for some reason, it just seems like they're gonna make the same mistake. Like it's some stuff that you see in the trailer, and I'm hoping they don't spend too much time on stuff like that. I'm like, because the biggest thing about Batman v Superman, it would have been a way better film if the runtime was just down. And I'm not even talking about the 3-hour stuff that they released for the the Blu-ray. That movie was way too long. So with this one, it's a couple of elements. I'm like, I hope they don't spend too much time on that. By the way, oh my God, Drogo's not going to be what you expect. He might. I don't know if we're going to like Aquaman.
Sir. Aquaman. All
right. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, Flash has an opportunity to steal the show, but some of this stuff just looks corny and it just seems out of place.
Alfred? Like the jokes with Alfred?
I actually don't mind Alfred. For some reason, his comedic timing works. Like, because whenever he just dry humor. I think dry humor works with this film. Flash seems like something out of a Marvel movie. It just seems like, okay, you talking like that seems out of place. The Cyborg and the Alfred exchange, I didn't really have a problem with. It's just other stuff. But nonetheless, I just think a lot of people aren't going to like this film as much as they would think. Still may be a good film, but it may be a little, because when you have an ensemble film, you almost have to put it on a different scale, i.e. an Avengers Age of Ultron, even Civil War, I'll put into that bracket. Days of Future Past, I'll put into that bracket. When you have people from same universe, but from different standalone films or other
properties,
previous installments joining forces, the movie almost automatically becomes a better movie, right? But with this one, I don't know if you're going to have to apply the same rules, because I don't know if this is going to be better than Wonder Woman.
And if you notice, they put her front and center. Like she was all over that
They
trailer.
yeah. So who knows? But I'm hoping this film is good because I always say right now the war between comic book movies, people try to pit Marvel and DC against one another when I'm like, well, actually, if you want to be honest, Fox is doing a better job than DC right now. I would want to see DC take the reins because their catalog is just so legendary. But the people handling that catalog have just been making mistakes. So nonetheless, I have it as a loser. You put it as a winner. Let me hear another winner. I'll go first this time. I think it's no question, even though Marvel has taken, I don't know, it looks like they're hedging their bet and they're not putting all of their cards on the table with Comic-Con anymore.
Nah, they're not.
But still, I think that they're a clear winner with the Black Panther footage. From what I'm hearing, I haven't seen it.
Did you see?
But
did you see like the reaction shot? Like they didn't. The trailer's not released, but they just showed like the cast reacting to it, and that was like the most organic, real emotion response I've seen in a while. Maybe like since like when it was first Star Wars cast, when I saw their reaction. Like with this cast, when I saw it, I was just like, whoa, they really are impressed. Like they really are happy. You know what I'm saying? Like they really like what they saw. And just reading the description, I was like, yo, this movie is going to be lit. Like I can't wait.
Bro, I'm telling you, my favorite character in the MCU is Tony Stark. After Black Panther comes out, nothing's going to change. However, my favorite director in the MCU might be Ryan Coogler. I mean, right now, he doesn't have enough on his resume to jump some of my other directors. But when I tell you Creed is a movie I love.
Same here.
You know, and it's like, I'm just waiting to see more from this guy. And I'm just like, whoa, you know what, dude? With a couple of more pictures, you might sneak into my top 10, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if you sneak into my top 7 because I just don't be looking at directors like that. Yeah. But I have high hopes for this movie. And I think that Comic-Con, Marvel did everything in their power to make sure other people have higher hopes for this film. Not only that, they showed Avengers Infinity War. And I was a little worried about this film just because I felt like the Golden Goose, the Golden Goose for Marvel, I think they let him go a while back. You know who I thought that was?
Who? Right
now, who would you say is my favorite director that ever made a Marvel film? Is one of the best writers.
Joss Whedon.
Yeah, and I think that was their their golden child. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Civil War and I had a couple issues with it, I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if they still have some of that magic left. You know, they might ride a wave off of past success, but I think it's going to go downhill from that. And I get proven wrong all the time because Spider-Man: Homecoming was decent.
Yeah.
But when I saw, heard some of the stuff that I heard, and you know how people are so quick to pounce on, like villains with Marvel. They say that this guy may actually be exactly what we expect, Thanos. So I'm looking forward to Marvel and what they got going on, and I think they were a clear winner. So it sounds like
like with the bearded cap and all that.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Can you send something to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's just like you just see Cap bearded up. You see Thanos. You see Guardians of the Galaxy members.
See, this is stuff. I'm getting excited, but actually, after you explain it, you kind of don't need to send it to me. But it's like, that's what Comic-Con makes you do. It makes you get excited over stuff that doesn't really mean anything. Because now I'm asking you to send me a picture of bearded Cap, like I've never seen him with the beard in any other movie before. So it's like, I kind of could get the picture. Send it to me if you will. I'm not going to go surf the internet for it.
Send it. You'll catch it.
But I was excited, as you could tell. And that's the testament of a successful presentation at Comic-Con. So who else do you have as a winner? Your turn.
I thought Thor Ragnarok did a decent job. Like, did you watch the trailer?
I put Marvel as a winner, but I haven't watched the Thor trailer, and that's the problem. I'm not even anxious to watch it. It wasn't a situation that I was avoiding the trailer to watch the movie and be excited. After the first trailer they released, I'm like, I'm not too excited. It's a Thor movie. I think Thor is one of their best characters, but he's shaping up to be their weakest trilogy. And he's also one of their weakest standalone. He has some of the weakest standalone films in Marvel. Like the first one was decent, but Thor Dark World, oh my God, It's on the bottom of the list, close to the bottom of the list. So, I mean, is there anything that I should be looking forward to with this trailer?
Like, you hear Hulk actually talk. Like, he says
Properly?
kinda like he just talks in a slow monotone voice, like Hulk, like this, like, you know what I'm saying, like he talks like that.
Oh, you mean like he's always talked before?
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. And then the colors are real good. It's like real vibrant. But the only thing, like you said, like for a third movie, is just like the stakes are just still like not high enough. You know what I'm saying?
Why aren't they high enough?
It's so
Because
weird. I don't get it.
it has Hulk. Because everybody wanted a World War Hulk movie, and they're technically getting it through Thor.
Yeah.
But people aren't as excited. Like when I talk to my chats with friends, Black Panther comes up, which is coming out in the year 2033. Why are we talking about Black Panther and not talking about Thor, which is right around the corner?
Yeah.
And I will say this, I put Marvel as a winner, but Thor is almost a loser, but it's still part of that bracket. I'll give you this. I think more people are excited about Justice League than Thor. But it's also an ensemble film, so you have to be more excited about Justice League. But I just feel like this film is going to be a letdown. And it's sad because it's unfair, because I think Hulk is going to steal some of that backlash from the first. A lot of people didn't like the first two Thor movies. I thought the first one was good, but I think an overwhelming majority of fans didn't like Thor: The Dark World. And that's why their anticipation for Thor Ragnarok isn't as high. And I think a lot of this film may not do the sales that they're projecting. And that's only because Thor: The Dark World sucked so much. But I think people are going to credit Hulk with some of that, negative press and say, see, that's why we can't give Hulk his own film, because his numbers don't look right. And I'm like, nah, it's not because of Hulk. I think it's because of the other guy you had in the film, but whatever. So I don't know. I put this as a loser. Hulk thinks it's a winner. Hulk just, for some reason, Hulk, it looked like you like everything that came out of Comic-Con.
But I have some losers.
All right, so for me, another winner that I'm going to put, because I think these type of studios could benefit tremendously from what San Diego has to offer. So as we see some of the big, big four, big six, I don't know how many studios there are again, but how many major studios. But as we see some of the big studios like a Sony, a Disney, Universal, Fox, take their foot off the gas, Warner Brothers, take their foot off the gas for San Diego. I think that Netflix and other platforms like even Amazon and what they got going on should really take advantage and start promoting original content, right? HBO as well, because they got their platform now. I think that they should really capitalize. And when you look at the trailer that I've seen, right, and that I'm actually excited for, and I was surprised that I was hearing so much about Stranger Things coming from Comic-Con when I've never really paid attention to the TV side, but Netflix is a winner too.
Oh yeah. Like
did you see the Bright trailer?
Oh yeah, I saw it. And
did I miss something? I'm not excited about that, by the way, but did I miss something? Because I saw the first trailer and I'm thinking I cut it off midway, but for some reason I thought this was going to be like cops versus, thugs, unfair cop shooting. I thought it was going to be grounded in reality. I think I turned off the trailer too soon the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Because so those alien elements or fairy elements were in the first trailer too?
Yeah, they tease it.
Okay, good. I missed it. I didn't finish the trailer the first time, but I'm like, I'll pass. Will Smith, you fell off. But then when I saw this, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, wait, is that a fairy? Is this a sci-fi type thing? From what I saw with the trailer, it's Netflix, so I'm going to watch it. The thing I love about Netflix is you could binge watch something in a weekend, and it really feels like you haven't wasted too much time wasting 3 months watching a whole season, right? So I'll probably watch it. I'm just not excited about it. Stranger Things was one of those things that I was like, I got a chance to watch it with my kids. So I was like, wow, I like the fact that I get to watch a Netflix original series with my, family rather than it just being just me and my wife. So Netflix
that was
is
genius
a winner
marketing,
as well.
putting the Thriller song on there. Like I thought it worked perfectly, especially with the release date being around Halloween. Like I just thought it worked.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the courts ruled to give Quincy Jones that 9.4 million, whatever it was, because he was in a royalty fight with the Michael Jackson estate, and I think he wanted some of that Netflix money. He was like, wait a minute, without Thriller, I mean, without Quincy Jones, there is no Off the Wall, no Thriller, no Bad. So I don't even know why they had to take that to court. But like you said, I'm a huge time Michael Jackson fan. Born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, but nonetheless, man, genius marketing. So you mentioned Warner Brothers already. My biggest winner I put them as a loser, but kind of like I'm separating Thor from Marvel. I separated this from Warner Brothers because Ready Player One is actually the biggest news that I felt that came out of Comic-Con. You know, I'm a Steven Spielberg fan, and when you look at his resume on everything that he's did, he's moved. He's past that whole blockbuster phase. He's like, look, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna leave it to the young guys. When I heard that he was attached to this project, like it feels like it was 3 years ago, because I felt like he was trying to chase.
This was like one of those things where it's been a while. Like
I was like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it, but I know this guy isn't doing blockbusters anymore. So I'm actually excited about this. I didn't watch the trailer, but the fact that I'm hearing there was a trailer and the fact that I'm hearing positivity surrounding the trailer, I think this is something that I'm looking forward to. Have you heard anything negative about this? Because I haven't.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It was just like, it was okay, but it was just like, it was not like bad or anything. It was just like,
It's one of those.
Yeah, like it wasn't like I'm still excited because it's Spielberg, so it's like I know it's gonna be good, but it wasn't like I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I'm saying, like, but it was okay.
I haven't seen the trailer, so I'm gonna lean on you because I think you do have an understanding other than what you mentioned for the Justice League thing about what makes a good trailer. So and Justice League is a good trailer, like I said. I just think the movie won't be good. But with this one, I think you have a taste. You know what I like in the trailer, so I'll lean on you and say, okay, the trailer's maybe not that good. I do not want to see Steven come back in the game and get embarrassed by these Christopher Nolans and these young cats. I just come on, dude.
He won't.
All right,
like, he's too good of a director.
That ends my winners. I don't have any more winners. Did you have any before we move on to losers?
I have one more winner. This is for like the horror genre. Like, I don't know if you've seen you probably didn't, but the It movie, like that trailer was real
Stop
good.
it.
What's up?
No, stop it. I'm just saying, stop it.
Oh.
All horror movies look scary when it's on the trailer, but how many good horror movies have came out over the last couple of years? It's been only a handful.
I think, because like the first one was good.
Stop it.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
Stop it. You sound like Poltergeist all over again. I'm like, no. The only reason why I'm actually not offended by this remake or reboot, whatever they want, remake, I don't know the difference anymore. Neither does Hollywood because they use those words interchangeably. But I felt the first one was more of a TV miniseries.
Yeah.
So to put it into a 2-hour format, I feel is a healthy, remake formula. However, Clowns, it was something that was like, okay, you were scared of that stuff in the 80s and 90s, i.e. Poltergeist. But if you got to scare me, like kids need to be scared a different way now. Like you see stuff like It Follows and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, wow, this isn't necessarily in your face jump scary-ish, but it's not something that's visually scary. It's something to where it's thematically scary. And I just feel like today, that stuff isn't scary. That movie's going to be full of jump scares. By the way, I saw the first trailer full of jump scares. I'm not excited about this movie, so maybe that's why I'm not able to get excited about the news of a new trailer. That's just me. But I'm going to let you go pay your ticket.
Can we
we'll do that episode.
Yeah. Okay, good.
We'll do it. And then I'm not going to see it. You're going to see it. And then you're going to have to lie to my face and tell me that you like that movie. But go ahead. But we set the creed, so you can't get offended. I can't get offended. Hey, let's talk about some of these losers, though. Let me hear some of your losers. I'm anxious to hear your losers after hearing some of your winners that I feel deserve asterisks.
All right. This one was for me, Fox. I thought, okay, they did good with Kingsman, but as far as like the X universe, like I was just like, okay, they still don't know what they're doing with Gambit because they asked, Channing Tatum, are you still doing Gambit? He's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like,
I think so.
Yeah, I'm like, really? Really? You think?
From what I know.
Yeah. I'm like, really? That's your answer?
It depends. It depends on how I feel.
And it's like, Wolverine is spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Logan yet. Wolverine
It's too late.
All right.
Dead.
He's dead.
He dead, but with that universe, is anyone ever really dead?
But no, trust Jackman. I could tell he does not want to do it because the training is very rigorous. Like, I'll be surprised if he ever comes back. So it's like, for me, you need to like Patrick Stewart. I heard he's not coming back, so you're losing that nostalgia factor. And like you said, Apocalypse wasn't all that great, and then you need more than just a cast announcement for Dark Phoenix for me. Like, you need something to get like the people behind. Like, you need, I don't know. Like, I really feel like they're gonna rely too heavily on Deadpool, and I think that's gonna hurt the franchise going forward.
You can't even say that because Deadpool didn't have any FaceTime at Comic-Con either, did he?
I think it was just like a poster. What they did, I think it was just a poster, right?
They took Fox, hold this L as long as you possibly can, because everyone thought they were going to be showing footage of Deadpool. Everyone thought they were going to be showing footage or early test footage, costume, or at least more information on X-Men Dark Phoenix. The only thing they showed was Kingsman. That's a huge L. And X-Men is like, to me, X-Men is that friend who drinks a lot or smokes a lot of weed, but you have like a hard time to tell them to quit because they're so good at being functional, like a functional alcoholic or pothead. Like, okay, I can't tell you to stop smoking because you just got a promotion. I can't tell you to stop drinking because, wow, like, dude, financially you're at a better spot than I am. You're dead. I can't tell you to stop drinking because you're getting straight A's and I'm not. Yeah. I know people like that. It's like hard telling them to stop. So I have a family member who hit the jackpot like 4 times at the casino. No. And it's like, it's a gambling problem, but you cannot tell them it's a problem since they keep winning. So Fox is that person to me because they just have a lot of bad habits. But like I mentioned earlier, when you pit them against, like, a lot of people try to pit DC against Marvel, when I think Fox is a better rivalry because most of their films are good. They pale in comparison to Marvel most of the times, but when you rank comic book movies, like, from 1 to 100, whatever you want to do, Fox properties may show up in your top 10 list 2 or 3 times, right? So they're the worst when it comes to showmanship, though. I just don't understand why they didn't choose to use that time to promote X-Men and Deadpool. And I think they may feel like, well, we got Deadpool right with the marketing last time, we'll get it right this time. But remember, you guys messed up with the marketing on Apocalypse. Because a lot of, domestic abuse and all that stuff, which I didn't agree with. But after having that experience, you shouldn't really hedge your bet on marketing. You should really use Comic-Con for what it's for.
Yeah, because they had trouble with how Apocalypse looks. It'd be like, oh, don't worry about
the story itself. Just seemed like it was a TV series. I'm like, this is like a Power Ranger episode. I didn't feel any type of stake. It just felt like it's the freak of the week. He messed up a couple of buildings and then you take him down. That's just like a Power Rangers episode. I'm straight. Like, I didn't feel like that film had anything to do with Days of Future Past, and I didn't feel like it had anything to do with what's to come in the X-Men universe. At least with Marvel, every film feels like they're connected. It's like, okay, this is going to set up Civil War. This is going to set up Spider-Man Homecoming. Set up Infinity War. This one, it just seemed like it's like Dragon Ball Z-ish. Like, okay, this is one of the DVDs that I bought from Blockbuster, and it has nothing to do with the Z saga. It's just something that's standalone.
Yeah, and then it's like, I remember, like, again, like, once I get that repeat viewing, that's when I really see the mistakes, and it was just like, I couldn't even finish it. Like, watching Age of Apocalypse.
I saw it the first time, and that's why I be telling you. I be telling you, Hope, sometimes.
I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan at heart.
Suicide Squad's the best movie ever. You and PD were like hurting my feelings. I'm like, did I watch something different? But we digress. For me, obviously, I had Justice League. I'm just not going to talk about that because we already talked about it in the winter section. But, one thing I will mention, I'm worried about this guy, Ben Affleck. Like, yeah, I'm a fan of Ben Affleck. That's why when they mentioned it, him being Batman, I wasn't opposed to it because I already seen the Town. I already seen Argo. And I'm like, oh, this guy was doing bad movies because of J-Lo. He's actually a pretty good actor, or he understands what makes a good film, because his involvement in the director seat. He so far is shaping up to be my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite Batman. Like, it's Michael Keaton, but I wasn't a big fan of Christopher Nolan's take on Batman because I just thought Christian Bale was just. I never understood that guy. I thought the villains were always better. With this one, I'm like, oh shoot, he was my only redeeming quality of Batman v Superman, and that's why I'm like, wow, they just should have made this a Batman movie and took out a lot of the excess stuff. But to hear that he had some conflict with Warner Brothers, I'm worried because if you take him away, I'm not a fan of that franchise.
He tried his best to dead the rumors. He was just like, oh, I love playing Batman, blah blah blah. But I think it's more.
He was reading the teleprompter.
I think because with him, I think it's because he had to go to rehab. He just got a divorce. I think he's more like he's dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I think that's why he couldn't direct the new Batman that's gonna come out. So I think he's just.
I don't know if that's the case.
Huh?
I don't know if that's the case.
What do you mean?
I just don't. I don't know if that's the case. It just feels like he's at the point. He's an Oscar winner, an Oscar-winning director, right?
Yeah.
He's he has a couple of hits under his belt. Was The Accountant with Warner Brothers?
Yeah, that was it. Yep.
All right, so now you made me do these other properties so that I could have a chance to do my film. I think there may be certain things he wants to probably establish, and Warner Brothers and Fox have always checked their directors like, hey, bro, it's not about you. It's about what we want to do. Chill out. And I think that this is not what I signed up for. This is really not what I signed up for. Whatever, have somebody else direct it. I'll still do the movie, but I'm gonna have an attitude about it. I'm worried that may be happening. Cause yes, like coupled with the divorce stuff and all that separation and all that stuff, I know it may add fuel to the fire, but I think a fire was there whether or not, his personal issues weren't intact. But I mean, this is all just speculation at this point.
Like we'll see. Like I think
Yeah.
I think he should give him at least one solo and then maybe find a way to transition to where maybe you know what I'm saying? Like where, because Batman is such a huge character. It's like, it's hard for them to just be one and done with him. Like, I don't know how they're going to transition from that.
Exactly. You got to keep the same Batman in this franchise. Otherwise, it's like, no, this is why Marvel kicks your butt. But moving along, what are some other losers you noticed?
Oh, some other losers? I would say this Marvel TV. Like, I did not like what I heard about Inhumans. Also, they announced Iron Fist season 2. I was just like, really? And I didn't even watch the trailer. I was just like,
Inhumans is through who?
It's gonna be through ABC.
Yeah, whenever you say ABC and Marvel, I kind of know what time it is. Like I haven't liked. I didn't even bother to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched like a couple minutes of it. I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not trying to watch this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to watch it. Same thing with Netflix. As much as people want to think Marvel's killing the game, let's be honest. Daredevil is awesome. Daredevil season 2, as much as people want to say that it didn't live up to the hype of the first season, Daredevil season 2 is still better than everything else that they have. Luke Cage, I like it, but I understand why a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah, same here.
It's some of the worst acting I've ever seen, but I like the show. Jessica Jones is some of the worst action I've ever seen since like 70s I can't say that word. Blaxploitation movies. Like I didn't like Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist I definitely didn't like. I think that's the worst one. So Punisher is enough for me to put as a winner, but I heard a lot of people didn't like that trailer, mainly because I think there were some homophobic jokes and also it just glorified violence. But newsflash, that's kind of what I expect from a guy like the Punisher. He's not in there as the head, so in the head. So for me to expect him to be like socially conscious, it's probably not a good look. So I'm actually looking forward to Punisher. But like you said, everything else they got coming out, I'm straight. I'm not even watching Iron Fist season 2. It's the worst property that I felt like they have on Netflix from that Marvel catalog.
Yeah. And even my hype, and it hurt my hype for Defenders. Because I remember when Defenders was first announced, I was just like, I can't wait for this. But then after like going through the whole catalog, I was just like, like I would much rather watch like, Punisher or like Daredevil season 3, to be honest. For me, like how
how have you felt about the first trailer for The Defenders?
Like it didn't do much for me. Like it just was like, oh, okay, but it just wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm so hyped.
Now ask me.
How did you receive the first Defenders trailer?
Never saw it. Still haven't seen it to this day. I'm just gonna go in and I will watch it though. I no matter how ugly it gets, I will watch it. But I'm going in with the expectation that I'm about to see a train wreck. Because like I told you, only one of those characters is like a decent actor to me, because Luke Cage, ever since he did the pull the trigger inward scene, I'm like, this guy can't. They have him sounding a little corny most of the time. But Jessica Jones know how to act too. The girl who plays Jessica Jones. But I just don't like that universe. So, well, I like the universe because Daredevil is in it. But I just don't like that story. So I really only like 1 out of the 4. 2 out of the 4 when you include Luke Cage. But I'm not hype. I just hate Iron Fist. I do not like him. So that's why when Defenders came out, I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Defenders. But, bro, I'm not going to be surprised if this thing sucks.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to. To me, I already don't think it's gonna live up to the hype. Like, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Like, but
is I haven't watched the trailer, but is Elektra in it?
That's the thing. I didn't watch the second trailer.
She was one of the.
Yeah, because
she's one of my favorite characters. But that's the reason I like season 2.
She comes back alive, but I don't know like how prominent she's gonna be in this season. Like, we'll see.
But we digress. I put so Punisher. I put as a loser. Well, we could put all of the TV for Marvel. I put Game of Thrones as a loser too, but it's almost unfair.
Yeah, the season's going
because
on.
You never really,
Yeah, because the season's going on, and it's just
and I don't think it's their fault. I really think that they were pressured and probably given a discount to promote their product, because I really think that they had problems filling the seats on some. We can't get enough studios out here or something, because this is like the latest I've ever seen somebody promote something, because I'm like, well, the season's going on now. It's hard to keep me, why am I going to watch a panel when you guys should have been promoting this? And they were promoting it, earlier this year. It just seemed like San Diego asked for a favor rather than HBO wanting to come out there. But that's my last loser. Let me hear what else you have on your list.
No, that was it. Marvel TV was like my last one. Those like the only glaring ones that I could think of where it was just like, okay, out of the major. Oh, I'll give an honorable mention to Universal. Like, I really think the Monster Universe, Cruz and Javier Bardem, like, who?
It's a wrap.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They might as well just shut that door. Let's go on to this is the reason we think San Diego's falling off a little bit, and we're gonna see much more satellite type events where it's Disney here, Fox here, Universal here, Sony here, Comic-Con here. So as that world starts to get diluted, I want us to rank this year versus previous year. What is your most memorable year when it comes to Comic-Con?
I'll still go with the Avengers reveal one. I think that's still number one to me, because I think it just...
Is that 2011?
I think so. It was like the year before.
If it came out 2012, you would imagine.
Yeah, it was like the year before. So yeah, I would say that's still number one to me. Second would be when they announced Batman versus Superman. Like, I remember like just being like so shocked and so happy that Warner Brothers actually did that.
Yeah. And I put that as my number one. And I think that's the year where I never thought about going to Comic-Con before, but I was like, oh, it would be nice to experience that live. Because even with the mentioning of the Avengers, I don't think it was as hyped as Batman v Superman, because no one ever saw an ensemble film like that. They were like, what are they doing again? It was confusion around it. Oh, that's going to be cool. That seems like that's going to be awesome. But they got a different Hulk. This may not be successful. But after what happened in 2012, and that became like the biggest box office opening weekend ever, I think a lot of people wanted to,
relive that moment.
Yeah, relive that moment. And when you saw Batman v Superman, you were like, oh, they're doing it again. I really think the biggest news ever to come out of Comic-Con was Batman v Superman, regardless of how you feel about the movie. If you remember when you got the news, and that's, I'm not ashamed to say it, that's one of them times I went online looking for like, little blurry footages and stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, now I need to see this. I need to experience it. But 2013 Comic-Con seemed like that's where everything really, it was a changing of the guard. This is the biggest event in the world. Days of Future Past was, I don't know if it was, I think it was announced at
Yeah, I think the
2013
cast.
as well.
I think the cast was there. Like they had all of them on stage. Like they were all there. Yeah.
Also, I'm a big Community fan, so this is when Dan Harmon came back to Community and he had a panel. Godzilla footage, didn't like the movie, but when they
That
showed
footage.
Godzilla
that was
footage,
huge. Yeah.
yeah, people were excited about it. And Guardians of the Galaxy had a Hall H presentation. So what that movie ended up becoming and also the hype around it, I was like, oh, okay, wow, Marvel could put out trash and they could still make it gold. And Guardians of the Galaxy, we know now isn't trash, but the property, we were like, that's a talking raccoon, a tree that only, what? This isn't going to work, but it looks so awesome. And so all of that coupled to say, I think 2013 was kind of like the best year, and I don't know if we're ever going to see that again.
No, we won't. It's too much now, especially now D23. That's the main thing. If D23 didn't exist, then I could see where, like, okay, San Diego was gonna be okay. But at the same time, when you have properties like Star Wars, can you imagine that? Like Star Wars didn't do anything, last weekend, but yet we already know because they have D23. Like we already know, like that's when we're gonna see another trailer. That's when we're gonna see, any new announcements, any new cast members, any new directors. So it's like when they have that in their back pocket, it's like
wrap.
And like Disney is such a major studio. It's not even with just like comic books or sci-fi stuff. They have all the Beauty and the Beast, all the Lion King, all that other stuff that they can also release at D23. So it's like
it's about
too huge.
Time the government get involved and start putting some legislation.
Regulations.
It needs to be regulated because Marvel and Disney is just a huge front runner, and then I'm like they got to split that company up. But anxious to hear what you guys think. Like, what are you most excited about from Comic-Con? And let us know your winners and losers, your version. Let us know if you agree. Feel free to let us know if you disagree, guys. But thanks for joining us today, guys. Before you leave, if you like what you heard, share it with a friend on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or wherever you go for your podcast. Don't let this be the last time we hear from you or you hear from us. Support the show by giving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It would really mean a lot. Also, join us next week. Check out the show notes on where you can find us weekly. It's Couch Tomato Films on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Couch Tomato Film on Twitter. Other than that, peace.